Hey y'all, so I wanted to come make this quick video. Usually I share all my thoughts for my podcast, but I just feel like I need to make this video and post it to my IGTV and to my YouTube. And I just pray that it blesses the right person, okay? Because this video is not going to be for everybody. But this is for all of my single ladies. Like, I'm going through my season of singleness, and it's one thing to hear about hear from people that are already in relationships or already married. But sometimes you don't want to hear it from them. Sometimes you need to hear it from somebody who is in the same season as you. Even though we all may be like in this season of singleness, of course my season of singleness will look very different from your season of singleness and vice versa. But I wanted to just come and share this because I know I'm not the only person dealing with this. Right? Well, not dealing with it because it's not nothing bad. It may not always feel good, but it's definitely nothing bad because being single is not a bad thing. Being single is actually like a perfect opportunity for it to just be you and God. Not to shut yourself from the world, but God has done like a lot of amazing things through my life while I've been single because I've been able to focus, right? And so I just wanted to get on here or make this video, child, because this is not a live video. First of all, this ponytail is itching, but she is staying in until my hair appointment next week, okay? So that's number one. But, so, I've been conversing with this guy or whatever, and I was left feeling very disappointed. Okay, because I just be minding my business. If you're like me, I mind my business. I don't be going after nobody. I be drinking my water or trying to, going to work, just doing what the Lord has called me to do, right? And so when people come to me about trying to get to know me, I don't give everybody the opportunity because nobody got time for that. But it's disappointing when you finally give somebody your time and your attention and your energy and they play with that thing like a Nintendo 64, So I was conversing with this guy. Basically, like it didn't work out. And so I told God, out of a temper tantrum, I was like, God, like, just don't even let me cross paths with nobody else. Like, don't let no other man talk to me until the one that is ready for me comes at me. Other than that, like, they can overlook me. Like, my DMs can be dry. My phone can be dry. Everything can just be dry because at this point, I don't have time for, foolishness, right? I don't have time for it because I've worked really hard to get to this place of peace, right? So as I'm telling God, like, I'm just not ready. Like, I'm not ready to like nobody. I'm not ready to miss nobody. I'm not ready. That's all I kept saying. And God was like, Jessica, you are ready. You are ready. And so I want to pose this question. What if it's not that you're not ready, but what if you are ready, but the people that are coming at you are not ready? Because see, I am ready because I've been going through, I went through my healing process. Although I still have some more growing to do. Like, I've grown a lot within the past 2 years, the past year, even the past 6 months, right? And so when you get to a point where you are ready to be consistent with somebody, you're ready to be honest with somebody, you're ready to not just be take, but also give. Everybody is not ready for that. Everybody is not healed from their past. Everybody is not emotionally available, right? So don't look at it as you're not ready, but look at it as you may actually be ready. It's just the people that are trying to come at you are not as ready as they think they are, right? And so I was like, okay, God, well, I just don't understand. I just don't understand why, I met this guy, and he just ended up being a disappointment. A few months ago I met another guy and that ended up being a disappointment. If you listen to my podcast, I talk about how he was still attached to his ex-girlfriend, how the ex-girlfriend called me on FaceTime me, child. If you don't know, then you need to go check out the podcast because I definitely go into how that went down. But I was just like, I just don't understand. Like, I be minding my business. Really minding my business. And I don't understand. And as soon as I said that, God dropped Proverbs 3:5. Lean not unto your own understanding, but in all ways, like, trust God and acknowledge Him. So everything is not meant for you to understand. Everything is not meant for you to understand. And it's not just about with my singleness, but there have been things in my life, right, that have happened in the past few months. And it's just like, okay, God, I really don't understand. I know deep down that you have a bigger plan for me, but I don't understand why some of these things that happen are happening the way that they're happening. Again, that doesn't mean that they're happening and they're bad. It's just things are happening. I'm like, okay, God, I just really don't understand. I don't understand what you're doing. But the word tells us that we don't have to know what God is doing because it's none of our business. Because if we trust him, right? If we trust him, we know that he has our best. He wants the best for us, right? He wants us to have what he has. Every good thing is not a godly thing, right? So even though there is a connection, although he may be 6'5" and fine and chocolate with a nice beard, doesn't always mean that he is a godly thing. So, and a lot of times we think about what would fit us right now. But God has so much more greater for us than what we can see right now. So a lot of times we get disappointed because things don't work out with the person right now, not understanding that that person will not even survive in the life that God has for us, or the path or the seasons that God is about to take us into. So instead of like throwing temper tantrums like me, I just want to encourage you to, one, understand that it's not always that you're not ready, but that you are ready, right? But I would rather be ready and single and minding my business and my peace be intact than be ready and just settling and then have somebody come and disturb my peace. Number two, it's not always meant for you to understand. When you pray, because I pray a lot, God, let your will be done. God, let your will be done. But we have to realize that just because we may want it, that may not be in God's will for our lives, right? So you have to understand, sis or bro or whoever is watching this, that everything that you want does not fall into God's will. And what I love about God, I can't talk about y'all, but what I know about me is even when I want to settle, like, because there are times when I want to settle. And I don't even realize that I'm settling, right? Until after the fact. But there are moments where I'm okay with settling. Again, not realizing that that's what I'm doing until after the fact. But what I love about God is that he never allows me to settle. I don't know about y'all, but he never allows me to settle. And even when he does let me settle, because he gives us free will, even when he lets me settle just a little bit, he doesn't let me stay stuck in my settlement, right? And then number three, you have to really begin to pray and ask God to help you to see things through his lenses. Because at that point when I was throwing my temper tantrum, I was looking through it like through a natural lens. Like, I'm just tired of people playing with me. Like, I'm tired of these guys. Like, just leave me alone. If all you're going to do is text and think that that's getting to know me, like, leave me alone. Right? If you're going to be inconsistent, leave me alone. But then when I pray and I was like, okay, God, well, help me to see this through my spiritual lenses. Because right now I'm just looking through it or at it through a natural eye view or whatever. And that's when God told me, like, Jess, it's not that you're not ready. It's that you are ready. Y'all, it's to the point where, like, inconsistency disturbs my peace. Right? Because if you're still at a place where you're okay with inconsistency and you are okay with people making excuses all the time, like you may not be ready. Because you should know that you deserve consistency. You're not asking for too much because you ask for consistency. But I will say this, disclaimer, you have to be everything that you desire in another person. So I have been working on, if I want honesty, then I have to be honest, right? If I want consistency, then I have to be consistent. If I want just whatever, just as the list goes on, whatever you want, you gotta be. If you want love, you gotta be love. If you want positivity, then you have to be positive, and the list goes on and on. But I just wanted to get on here and let you know, single ladies, that you are not by yourself. That I know sometimes it can be frustrating, but it is so much better to be single and really focus on what God has called you to focus on versus somebody playing with you. Because I don't have time to be played with or played over. Okay? So, single ladies, I know sometimes it can be frustrating. Because 90% of the time, I am good. 90% of the time, I don't even realize that I'm single. But there's that 10% where you know, it can be a little uncomfortable because I'm human. And so don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for desiring a relationship. And I understand like our time is coming, and I know that, I know all this. I know everything that the people who are already in relationships will tell us. I know that. But in the moment, I need to hear from somebody who is going through what I'm going through in that moment. So I just wanted to make this video to encourage one or two single ladies that, I feel you, sis. This morning toes itching. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. But what I do know is that God's plans are so much bigger than our plans, right? And that He loves us too much to ever give us anything less than what He has for us. Yes, He may give us free will to settle, but what I know about God in my life is that He will never let me stay in my settlement. He'll never let me stay. So continue to seek God. Continue to do the work. Continue to do what God has called you to do. Because one thing I learned like 2 years ago, before I started the podcast, before I started writing the books, like at that point I wanted a man. And I know looking back, I was not ready for a man because I was not doing anything that God told me to do. So it was like, well, Jess, how would you want a man 2 years ago when God gave you all these instructions and you were not doing any of that without a man? So why would He have brought a man into your life at that point to distract you even more, right? So I pray that you will begin to look at your singleness through God's lenses. I know it's very easy to look at it from a natural standpoint, but I pray that you will look at your singleness from a spiritual standpoint and understand, right, that God loves you too much to ever allow you to stay in your settlement. 1, 2, that you don't have to understand what God is doing. You just have to trust Him. You don't have to understand. You don't got to know details. You just got to trust Him. And number 3, that it's not that you may not be ready. Now, all of y'all not ready. Disclaimer, okay? Now, all of y'all are ready to be in a relationship. But for some of you, it may not be that you're not ready, but that you are ready. And that God has somebody special for you. It's not that He does have somebody special for you, if that is in His will for your life. So, I hope that video makes sense. I'm recording this at like 6:30 in the morning before I have to go to work. And so I need to go make my coffee and get my life together before I, work with our future. But yeah, so make sure y'all tune into the podcast, Dear Sister Podcast. It can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. Okay, and make sure that you rate and review and subscribe to the podcast. And if you want more gems like this, comment and let me know, because honey, like I said, it's one thing to get wisdom from people who are already in relationships or already married, and we appreciate that. But sometimes you want to hear from somebody that is kind of in the same season as you, because it's like, okay, yes, I know what you're telling me. I know that it's coming. I know I got to be patient. Like, I know all of that. But I want to hear from somebody who is going through what I'm going through right at this moment. Because then I'll know for real that you understand what I'm going through right at this moment. So yeah, I pray that this video blesses you or somebody. Share with a friend who you know can use this. It's very different from me. Like, I'm usually like behind the camera, or not even behind the camera. I'm usually behind a microphone. So I am stepping outside of my comfort zone by making this video. So yeah, y'all be blessed. Have an awesome day, single ladies. It's okay, but you are so worth the wait. You're worth the consistency. You're worth all of the good things that God has for you. And if you only knew how close you are, oh, that's a word, because I don't even know where that, I didn't even have this in my brain to tell you. If you knew how close you were, maybe this is for me, God. If you knew how close you were to your breakthrough, to your prayers being answered, to that blessing that God has for you, if you knew how close you were, then you would not settle. You will be okay with being overlooked. You would be okay with people kind of disappearing. Like, you would be okay if you only knew. If you only knew how close you are. You're closer than you think. You're closer than you think to your prayers being answered, to your breakthrough, to your blessings. Like, you're closer than you think. So stay focused. Do not get distracted in this season, because the same way that God knows what we want, the enemy knows what we want too. And the enemy, with his crazy self, he knows that he can't stop anything that God wants to do in our lives, but he does know, okay? He does know that if he can throw some little things in our way to distract us, then he can like delay us from getting what God has for us. He can't stop it, but he can distract us from walking into what God has for us. So just realize, like, just get that in your head, that you are way closer to your breakthrough, to your prayers being answered, to your blessings than you think you are. So hold on, do the work, stay focused, love on yourself a little extra hard today, and be patient with yourself. I have to remind myself to be patient with myself constantly, because sometimes I'll be like, girl, get your life together, because nobody got time for that. But I remember that I have to be graceful towards myself. So make sure y'all check out the podcast. I'll holler at y'all later. Be good.